And then at the end of the movie, I looked at reviews on YouTube just to see what other people were saying,
Hmm.
and people were just saying the craziest things. I mean, one thing I'll put or we'll put on here that somebody had said. See if I can actually pull it up here, because I mean, you hear a lot of people saying things like, "Well, if you're black, definitely go see the film. Or if you're white, don't go into the theater till about a week after. Let the blacks go in and have their fun." It was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Like
that's
crazy
like
shit.
it
Like,
doesn't make any sense, especially when you're dealing with a film studio that's not a a charity. It's not a nonprofit.
uh,
They're in the business to make money. They want everybody that can fit in every seat to be there, no matter what their ethnicity. They care
hmm
about the color green when
same
it comes to
roots. I
when it
mean,
comes to
damn.
that type of thing. So I don't really I don't. Besides maybe anybody joking or just being funny,
hmm
I don't. No one seriously is thinking, oh, if you're white or if you're another race or whatever, especially white, um, you shouldn't go see the film or you're not worthy to go see the film or ask them why are you going to go see the film. No one's saying that. I think that's just a narrative that's being pushed just to muddy the waters and create controversy and conflict where there is none. I think for black people especially like myself, I was excited to see the movie just because it's Black Panther and the fact that it's a part of the cinematic universe that I enjoy watching. Like I like these stories. I like these movies that they're putting out there, high quality. They got good actors in it, and now I actually get to see a character that has my ancestry on side of the family being depicted on screen, and that excites me, and that excites my son. My son, I took my son the second time I watched it to a premiere event, and man, we had a great time just going and just seeing everybody there excited like that. That part got me energized. Just seeing everybody else there just energized and happy to go see this movie. Everybody was just itching to see it, even though I had already saw it the night before on Thursday night. I still was excited to see it again. Like I
hmm
wish I could just. I'm probably gonna go see it again because my son wants to see it again. So it's just. I think that a lot of people are just putting it out there to change the narrative on things and create a fight that's not there, and
Right. Yeah, and I can't pull up the comment, but
that's irrelevant.
the comment was well, I'm being very careful about buying my tickets for Black Panther because I just want to make sure that I'm not taking the joy away from black people that are going to see the film. And I'm like, what? You don't want to give?
No black people is making you feel that way. If you feeling that way, that's your own self guilt inside. There's no
Yeah.
black people are telling you or making you feel like you shouldn't go see the film or that you should wait to see the film and you don't want to rob black people of their joy. That's not gonna happen. No
Yeah.
black people that's going to go. No one. None of us are saying to ourselves, "Why the fuck is they here? You ruining my time going to see this movie." Nobody's fucking saying that. I'm focusing on T'Challa and Denai Guerrero out there doing their thing.
Right.
That's what I'm focused on. I don't give a fuck about what you're doing. I'm going there to have fun and enjoy this movie. Yes, does it mean more emotionally for me? Yes, it does. Is it gonna maybe alter how I feel about the movie? Yes, I'm human. It is. But in no way, shape, or form do I feel like I'm looking at someone that's white,
hmm
in this case that we're talking about, feel like they shouldn't be there, and that's gonna rob my joy of the movie. To me, that's
hmm
idiotic, and to me, that's irresponsible, and to me, that's just a narrative that's being pushed by
hmm
people like Ben Shapiro, and
hmm
we'll get into it, and
Right.
another guy who made a video, and it's just that narrative that they're pushing out there, and it's nonsensical.
Right. I just think it's crazy because if you want to know how we feel, or maybe this is just me, I don't know. But it's like, because we bring up the fact that's more emotional to us. And that's where people get like, oh, God, why? Why? We gave you Obama already. Why? Okay, well, let me explain it. Why it's more emotional to us is because,
We stopped lynching y'all, so you should now you got your we stopped lynching y'all. You ain't enslaved anymore, and you got your Black Panther movie. We even now. That's almost like get the fuck out of here.
and I'm just like, I guess to put it in perspective, you gotta really, again, I'm big on perspective. You gotta just imagine you growing up this whole time, and you're getting made fun of, for the color of your skin, and you don't really know why. You're mad, and all of a sudden, in the middle of school, you're watching the movie Roots. right? And you're watching some, and you're just sitting there, and then they're saying the word over and over, or Amistad, whatever slave movie they be putting on in school. Especially being the only black kid in school, I'm watching this. All the kids are turning and looking at me like, "Oh, is he offended? Oh my!" Just looking at me, and knowing that they called me that, the same names that they're calling the black people in the movie,
Right.
and you're
Because
calling
you
me
grew up
that,
in Arizona, so it's different.
right?
Like you were outnumbered in that
Right.
case.
I just getting made fun of all the time, being called the N word, and it's like, damn, like, so, all this is happening now. I know why I'm mad, cause I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, so my ancestors went through that, and your ancestors did that to me, and you're still calling me that name right now.
Hmm.
Whoa. Now that word means more to me, cause the word nigga means a lot more now because well, you're saying because some people don't think that word has power or it has the same power as the word cracker.
It
When
doesn't.
right, it doesn't. When you can explain that
Yeah,
part, like,
because when you're dealing with racism, it's prejudice plus power. And
mm-hmm,
we don't have power. So when
right,
I call you cracker, it's reactionary. Not saying it's right. Not saying I'm going around calling people cracker. But
right,
when they try to make the comparison, and I know we're getting away from the movie, but sometimes these things have to be discussed.
mm-hmm,
I remember CNN. I'll never forget this. So CNN had they were talking about the racial slurs,
mm-hmm,
and how they have the ticker at the bottom, the headline of what the segment is about.
right,
And they said what word is worse or something. It was something along those lines.
mm-hmm,
And they had all the different races. They had like 4 different racial slurs on there, and and it was asking the question like, are they all the same or what's worse? I can tell you which one's worse. The one you can't spell, nigga.
it was
Like
blurred out.
all the other ones, you got cracker and guinea and fucking spick and all that other different type of shit on there, and you can spell those out,
Uh huh.
but you can't spell the word that. Why are you even devoting the whole segment to that bullshit? Like, duh. Like
Right.
there's a reason behind that. Like there's so much power when you call someone a crack. That's reactionary for how you feel. So you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to make them feel some type of way, but it has no backbone behind it. There's no history
There's
behind it.
no history.
There's nothing.
That's the
So
point.
to me, to them, that don't even bother white people.
And the history.
It's not saying
Yeah.
it's right. You shouldn't be calling people that, but at the same time, don't try to make the comparison.
Right.
There is none.
And the history connects because of the fact that I'm watching this. I'm still being called this over what I'm watching, and that's my history. Like, so that's what you did to us, and you're still calling me that word. Like, you should have some more respect based on the fact that this history happened. And that's why when they go through and they bring up things like that in Black Panther, when they bring up slavery, when they bring up, us being oppressed and things like that, and that's why I love at the end of the movie. That's my favorite quote. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. It was when he basically, he basically was about to die, and Black Panther brought him up to see the sunset. Something he said was silly, and and I want to get into something else too because I totally forgot about it. But then he looks at it and he basically says, we can heal you. Because I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, why don't you guys just take him back and heal him? It's Wakanda. You know what I mean? But
Right.
that's when he basically said, it's all why.
So you can lock me up.
So
Yeah.
you can lock me up, and then he says what?
Oh, he said no. He said just I want you to bury me with my ancestors.
In the ocean.
From the slave ships. He said because they knew that death was better than bondage.
Right.
And that was what both times that I saw the film, man. That it was like you heard a pin drop
Right.
after he said that, and
I
it
choked up, like,
resonated with so many. Like to me, how I felt, it resonated so much, and to me, I don't feel like it was preachy.
Mm-mm.
That was literally how he felt. Like when you talk about like we'll get into Killmonger's storyline, but his whole story arc is about him for one being abandoned, going through life hard in Oakland, where he had to endure all types of tribulations and stuff like that a lot of people deal with, and then he went through the army, black ops and Iraq and made all these kills. Like he basically turned into a war machine. Like that's what he was. But he had a certain philosophy and conviction about him that his number one option was to get to Wakanda and fight the Black Panther so he could take the throne. That was his objective. And then once he got the throne, basically put out his plan that look, I've learned from my colonizers. Now we have the upper hand. Anytime, and he made the statement when he actually took the throne. He said, anytime we made a revolution, we never had the firepower to deal with it, to actually come up out on top. Now we have the upper hand with vibranium and the technology that Wakanda has. Now we'll be able to basically turn it over on its head and kind of reverse everything. That was his plan.
And I kind of felt like
And a lot of people, in all honesty, you can gravitate toward that inside you for a minute. Like you hear where he's coming from, that pain, and why he's feeling that way.
There's a reason why 70% of black kids grow up without their father, and I think that's crazy how it seemed relatable that it was almost like this whole black American versus, an African black type complex
No,
in the
definitely,
movie.
and it spoke to that a lot. And I think by the end of the movie, T'Challa basically, and he said that line. He said, he's talking to Killmonger while they're in that fight scene in the mine, in the vibranium mine, that you're turning into the monsters that you hate. And it's true. That's what he had become. But it's very split when you look at that. But what I thought was even great about the movie too, especially dealing with T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman playing Black Panther, is that he went through a change as well. He understood with his father and the other kings before him had been making mistakes. For one, the mistake his father made by killing his own brother and then leaving his son.
Right.
And then the other kings that came before his father not using their resources to help other people that look like them. And Killmonger made that. So I think Killmonger, in this sense, also changed Black Panther and the philosophy of, where Wakanda should stand when it comes to their people, because they are your people. They are just the ancestors of the people who got captured. And I think that he understood that and came to that medium and understood that, we should open up and we should help our people. That's why in the movie, he said he bought this building, he bought that building, and created an outreach center and all of that.
That was cool.
Like that was,
that was
and
cool.
and it's fun to see that, because at the same time we live in the real world. And we wish that part could happen necessarily, but it was good just to see that, because to me that was just such a positive, outlook on trying to make a difference. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, that scene meant a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that we'll get to some the negative